Sam, we were just talking about live dogs, and yes, I am arrow pointing up a little bit on Minnesota here. And so you asked me the question about what about this matchup against San Francisco? You got a short week. They're traveling over to Minnesota. Yeah, is that a possibility? Certainly something that stood out. I don't know if I'm going side or total yet, but you've got the purple on. What do you think? It looks like no CMC for this game, just like week number one. Do you think the Vikings are live?
Mm, Not as live as you, because
Cover?
I don't think I don't think beating the Giants is that big of a
I know.
deal. The
It's
Giants
not.
are so bad, and that is a team that could very easily be the team with the worst record in the NFL. I know we all want to overreact to many things from week one, namely the Panthers
Mhm.
getting absolutely blitzed by New Orleans. We also want to overreact to Malik Willis taking a sack at midfield and saying he can't play NFL quarterback. Like, all the reactions to
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
thing or one play or one result are a little silly. I was reading some articles on Monday and Tuesday about how Sam Darnold might be the missing piece in Minnesota. And I'm
Oh,
thinking,
stop.
but
No, no,
that's
no, no.
that's what we do. That's what we do as a collective of people that watch and consume football. We watch one weekend and think we have all the answers. I thought opening San Francisco at 7 told the story. Now, without McCaffrey, probably a little bit tougher to win on the road, and you look at the home and road splits for guys like George Kittle, for guys like Debo, for guys like Brock Purdy, they're much better at home. It's a lot easier to get in a rhythm at home. Your cadences are different. There's no crowd noise. I mean, Minnesota, I've been to a couple games in Minnesota. If the Vikings are in the game, that place is a zoo. It is so
Mhm.
loud. They got that. I mean, it's a very tough place
Place
to
is
play
rocking.
for an opposing offense on the road. I don't know that I want to lay 6, but I don't know that I want to take 6. So that's a
You
game
don't wanna be on the other
275,
side.
276. I
Yeah.
might just pass it. That could be a game that our buddy Andy Molitor calls a learn it game. Let's learn about Minnesota's offense against a much better team. And let's learn if this San Francisco offense that was really, really good Monday night at home, can they travel on the road without their best offensive player, Christian McCaffrey?
I think some of the reaction, what we're seeing with pro Darnold stuff, is people that wanted it to happen before, and then they saw it. Yes, it's a different situation. He has better coaching, more talent around him than he has in other spots. I'm not counting San Francisco. He wasn't, the starter there. But that's the other thing too. Like Shanahan knows this guy. He just spent a year with him. He knows him inside and out. So he's in those defensive meetings talking about that a little bit. So it does feel a little bit like, oh wait, you confirmed what I was hoping for you. So now maybe I'm bringing you to this level. Maybe you shouldn't be at. There might be a little bit of that, but that's kind of why I'm like, maybe over. Maybe we'll play the over instead because we could certainly see that. It looks like now they say unlikely. So yeah, CMC is not going to be playing this week. There's no need for it with the upcoming schedule that the San Francisco 49ers have. It's big picture stuff for them. So yeah, now we're at 6. Wouldn't surprise me if that goes back to 7. But Vikings getting a little bit of support there as far as the market goes. BetQL Daily, Joe Ostrowski, Sam Panayonovich with you right here on the BetQL network. The Let's see, you want to go Marvin Harrison because I find that to be very intriguing that he was just not part of the offense in any sense. And I don't expect that to continue. I don't think anybody does. That's why he's still the third favorite as far as the offensive rookie of the year. So when are they going to find a spot where he's unleashed? I don't know that I'm going to end up taking a stand. We'll probably have to get to the final injury report. But an interesting matchup. You talk about line moves. That's one where it just completely flips from Rams -2 to Cardinals -1. It surprises me to see some people that are still hot on the Rams and they looked at the result of Sunday night's game and said, "Yeah, I feel better. I know it's an L, but It was supposed to be an L. I feel good about the Rams, just given the injury situation, whether we're talking about the offensive line or the number one target on offense.
I was very happy last night to lay some Arizona -1, -105.
As you,
That to me was a pretty decent bet. I don't know how much further it's going to go. I mean, you got to remember the moves through 0 are not as strong as a move from, 9-6 or from 17 to 13. Obviously, you move through 0, it sort of runs a little bit. It's not like it's a huge math thing. It's just, when a team is -1, it's not uncommon to see them go to -1.5, -2, -2.5. It happens. But the worst
mm-hmm.
part about that line move is that Arizona at +2.5 would have been teaser city, dude.
Yes.
I mean, to go from 2.5 to 8.5 on Arizona would have been the nuts. Can't do that anymore because now if you want to tease Arizona, you have to cross through 0. I never do that, and I know a lot of people would bark home that point that you don't tease through 0. Arizona's offense was very impressive at times against Buffalo, but really the key to this game to me is the Rams' lack of health on the offensive line and already the injury to Puka Nacua. We discussed this a little bit yesterday on the show when it started to swing to 1.5. It's a 1.5 right now at BetMGM. I think the offensive line play is really the key for their team because that was a weakness for them already in Los Angeles. We all talk about Stafford and Kupp and Nakua and Sean McVay, but if their line is cooked, they're not making the playoffs this year because eventually big tree fall hard. And you know who the big tree is in Los Angeles. It's the quarterback who gets hurt 4 times a year. He's
Yeah.
always on the injury report last few years. Now he plays a lot. That's a tough dude. He's played. We know he's played with concussions. We've seen it happen. But can that guy stay upright for the next 4 months? Ugh.
I like that play. I like that Arizona play more and more I think about it because, I know it's not viewed as the most enthusiastic fan base, but when they're playing well, that place gets pretty loud. I just can't get past. You pull up the Rams depth chart right now, like on our lads, red, red, red. Like they're all
Red.
injured. They're all injured. The only looks like the only healthy offensive lineman right now is left guard Jonah Jackson. Survivor?
Maybe.
Really? You're
How
really
often are you going to
dangerous.
use Arizona, dude? How often?
Probably
Think about it.
not. I'd have to look. Arizona. Let's see when their most likely chances to win. I'm not week 7 at the Chargers. I mean, at home against the Chargers. Not interested. They get the Patriots, but that's late in the season. And they've got at Carolina that's late in the season. Could be a sharp look. Could be. In the division,
Well,
but that's
we'll
the
see.
tough one.
We'll see. The Panthers was a sharp look too over the weekend. Not every sharp look is going to come home. These
Ah,
guys, I think that's
yeah.
a common misconception that you see a sharp line move that it's going to come through. I mean, the sharps, you ask any sharp, and I know a bunch of them, they're trying to hit 56, 57%.
Right.
Now, are they going to win more than not when they move the line 3 points? 100%. But you can't. Here's what I'll say about the sharp line movement. That is not a sharp line movement on 271, 272. To think that, because we have the betting screens up and you could see Green Bay open -5 and now Indy is -3 or -4 at BetMGM. That is not a sharp 8-9 point move to Green Bay. All that means
No.
is that they had to overreact to Love being out, Willis being in, and then everybody that saw the news that Love was out just piled on. That's not sharp money. There's no wise guy laying Indy -3.5 to 4. The last possible number they were going to lay there was Indy -3. And look at the threes. They're all expensive now. -15, -16, -17. So there's no sharp, there's no sharp in an alley laying Indy -3.5, -4. That's not how it works. So you can't look at
Yeah.
that move from -5 on the Green Bay side to -3.5 and think,
No.
wow, the Sharps really love Indy. Well, Maybe they did at a lesser number, but not now. Not now. The market is set.